Hello, my name is Blair, and this is the prelude to episode 2, Never Satisfied Fitness. For a lot of my life, a lot of my adult life rather, I would always fluctuate in weight. So I would always fluctuate between the same like 5 and 15 pounds. A couple of months I would be thinner and I would be working out, cardio mostly. And a little bit of weights I did know how to do, eating a little better, and then I would fall off. And I just was like, the cycle it's kind of tired. It's time to like really just commit and stick to being the healthiest you. And that actually had been my goal for a long time. Well, I'm not even gonna say that. It had been an idea for a long time of mine to just see what I would look like and what I would feel like being the healthiest version of me. So in January, I was down. I was a nice healthy weight. I looked good. Well, I always looked good, but I was a little more healthier. And then by May was one of those times I had spiked back up, and then that's when I made the decision. On May 15th is when I took my first picture. Like, this is what it looks like when I fluctuate up. And then I read the whole 30 book. I got all the groceries on the item list. I threw out everything that didn't necessarily align with the book or ate it. So June started and I started the whole 30. For those of you who don't know what the whole 30 is, it's a book and it's a diet plan. So for 30 days, you don't eat any sugar and you only eat meat, vegetables, a little bit of fruit. Yeah, that's it. Oh, and you can eat eggs. I had already had in the back of my head, I wasn't even feeling meat all like that, but by the end of the whole 30, I was like, all right, I was like low-key repulsed by it because I was just like, this is just too much. And so in July, I started like pulling back on meat. So I started taking a lot of the meat from the whole 30 out my diet, and I eased into July. So a lot of July, I was still following the whole 30 like regimen because I had been eating that way for 30 days. So I slowly started to integrate sugar back into my diet. I didn't go all out and go buy a cake. Towards the middle of July, I had to travel. So I went to Haiti. It fell right in kind of alignment with what I was already eating. They eat a lot of bread. I didn't indulge in the bread actually at all. I did eat the chicken down there. And I ate, like, they had a lot of rice, black rice. Oh my gosh. They had a lot of rice and a lot of vegetables, legumes. There was a lot of mangoes. There was a lot of coconuts and coconut water. And like, people were selling fruit off the street. So crenips in Haiti are green, circular. And when you peel back the skin, it's like a grape. It's like a grape type texture. A little bit like more moist and dense, and there's a hard seed in the middle. But that is primarily what I ate there, so that was fine. Now we're in August, and I started no meat, no cheese. So that was my new challenge. So I brought in some of the habits that I picked up through the whole 30, and some of the adjustments I had made through July. And cheese wasn't really that difficult for me to let go at this point because I had already been through that with the whole 30. Letting it go, and then through July I didn't really incorporate that much back into my diet. And so by the time we got to August, I was like, okay, I could do this. And at the end of the month, I wanted to try to do all raw food. About 5 days through, I almost passed out. I didn't properly educate myself on like how much you actually have to eat on a raw food diet. I wasn't eating a lot at all. It was around the time when I was releasing the book. I also had like 2 big major things going on at the same time. So my mind was everywhere. So by the 5th day, I almost passed out. September, I just continued no meat, no cheese. But I must say, while I was doing a no meat, no cheese, I started to compensate with a lot of sugar. I was eating a lot of chocolate. I was eating a lot of, primarily I was eating a lot of chocolate. And then we get to October. I was losing weight, but I knew that the sugar thing was still a little bit, I was doing too much. Because my goal never was to lose X amount of weight. That never was my goal. I was losing the weight, but I was paying more attention to my habits and my lifestyle. And so I was like, you know, in November, I'm going to try a strict vegan diet, and I'm going to incorporate working out. So in November, I was working out 5 days a week, every day. My workouts primarily consisted of cardio. And then when I went to the gym, I would do what I could do with the weights. I was on a very strict vegan diet, like extremely strict vegan diet. Like I wasn't even, but by December 14th, my momentum in the gym kind of slowed down. My body kind of was like, all right, like you can run, you can do cardio, but I wanted more. I wanted to tone up. I didn't necessarily know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. You know, I need to get a trainer. And now while I was thinking I wanted to get a trainer, I started thinking about all the things that comes with getting a trainer. It has to be somebody who's accountable. It has to be somebody who's reliable. It has to be somebody who's trustworthy. It has to be somebody who's affordable for me. And it has to, distance plays a factor too. So those were my 5 things that I was taking into consideration while I was looking for a trainer. I tried one trainer, it didn't work out. And back in 2016, at one point in time, I had tried a trainer that also didn't work out. January is when I found Never Satisfied Fitness, is when I found Ali. So I actually been looking at his page for a while. So I was looking at his page for a while, and I just noticed that he had like a wide variety of clients. I saw kids, I saw older adults, I saw young ladies, I saw young men, I saw older men. I saw everybody from 0 to 100. And I noticed that he was always working. So I texted him and I said, you know, what are your rates? And he texted back right away with like a full, these are my rates. This is what it comes with. Off the back, I already like recognized the professionalism. He asked me what package I would want, and I was like, well, you know, I already had 2 previous experiences that didn't really work out. So I said, I'll do the one, you know, just one time I'll just come in and work out. I went to Amsterdam. Amsterdam is not vegan friendly. There's a few vegan places, but like primarily where we were staying in the red light district, like it's donuts everywhere, pasta everywhere, cheese everywhere, chicken everywhere. So I was just like, I wasn't even necessarily being like, oh, I can't eat this because I'm plant-based or because I'm on a vegan diet. I was like, I'm not finna eat this and get sick out here and ruin my mom's trip. By the end of January, I ended up just on that trip alone, I was gone like 5 days. I lost like 6 pounds in 5 days. That's not a badge of honor. Like, you're not eating, like that's how you lost weight. So I was maintaining a healthy weight through January, but losing them 6 pounds at the end of the month because I wasn't eating for those 5 days, I was just like, I was like, okay, you know, you lost a little bit of weight, but again, that necessarily wasn't my goal, and I definitely didn't want to lose weight like that. So I come to the gym. First, I was lost. I was parked on the wrong side of the parking lot. So I called him. I'm like, hey, I can't, can you direct me to the gym? And he was like, oh, I see you, pull around. And I pulled around and I parked. And as soon as I hopped out the car, Ali was waiting at the door with a big, wide grin on his face. Like, Ali is the type of person where you could tell what he looked like when he was a kid. You know, people just got like big, wide smiles. Ali got a big, wide smile. So he was waiting at the door with a big, wide smile. Mind you, I'm already coming in with some preconceived notions. Well, really, I'm coming, not necessarily preconceived notions, but I'm already coming in extra attentive, like really scoping it out to make sure like he's the right fit. I came in, he made a little comment about me not giving him my IG. We kind of laughed it off, and then so he started an assessment primarily on me. So he started an assessment. So at one point in the workout, he had to physically touch me. And I do want to reiterate that point for all the women who are watching, because you're putting yourself under the authority of someone for 45 minutes to an hour and a half every time you go see them. And you just want to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of. So just pay close attention to stuff like that. It was a professional touch. and it was just a corrective touch. His welcoming spirit just off the gate was another brownie point. The professionalism through the text message, like outlining all the prices, being upfront about all the prices, initially was a plus for me. After my assessment, immediately he rattled off things that he noticed. And to me, I was like, okay, he's paying attention to detail. And so afterwards, I knew I was about to travel again. I knew I was about to go to the Bahamas with my dad. So I didn't commit initially. We moved into March, and on March 13th, I committed to Ali. I just texted him a message like, I'm ready to commit. Through the gap in between when we did our initial workout in February up until March, he had checked in with me and asked me like, how I was feeling, but he wasn't trying to pressure me into like paying for services, coming back. Like he wasn't being a salesperson. He really was just texting me like, how does your body feel after the workout? He let it be, and I believe it's because he knows that when you're ready to commit, you'll commit, and it's not necessarily like, it's not nothing to badger nobody about. I believe our first workout was March 19th. We took it through April, and so I already had my picture. I had been taking, documenting my experience just with the whole journey through the whole time. But I took my picture right when we started, and then at the end of the first month, I took another picture. I didn't tone how I wanted to tone. For some reason in my brain, I thought I was really about to tone up in 1 month. Be okay with not getting what you want right away. After he had said that to me, I started like really paying attention to the balance on my plate, and I really started paying attention to my portion size. So throughout this whole experience, I kind of was like, my portions were still pretty big. I just eat a lot. And I never really thought too much of it because it was like all my life I just ate a lot. Whatever I was eating. If I was eating healthy, I was eating a lot. If I was eating not so healthy, I was eating a lot of it. So this was the first time I kind of reevaluated the whole portion thing. And so I started playing around with portions. I actually got some tips off of like 2 of my friends because they always told me I ate a lot. But I just was like, I ate a lot. And I didn't really care that much. Because even when I was smaller, I would be eating a lot. And then when I was bigger, I was eating a lot. I always kind of just thought of like, it's not really how much you're eating is something, it's what you're eating. But when I got to this point, I started thinking about how much do you need? And I didn't need all that food. And then, I started thinking about cash. Like, you wasting money because you buying food that you don't even need to sustain. Now, I'm here, and it's 1 full year. On the 5 days right before my full year picture, I retried what I failed at in August. So I tried the raw food for 5 straight days again. This time, because I was working out, I added in rice cakes, peanut butter, and I didn't pass out, and I worked out through it. At the end of this first year, some of the things that I noticed have improved. I noticed that the condition of my skin has improved. You see, almost look like a little highlight. Whenever I reduced my sugar levels, my periods were better. I'm not done. I'm not like, oh, we're done. Like, me and Ali got new goals, and like the ante has been upped. And I hope that wherever you are at in your health journey, or wherever you are at with making a lifestyle switch, that you do. You think stuff through, but you ultimately do. That's the key to it all. The only difference between the first picture, May 15th, 17, and May 15th, 2018, the only difference between those pictures were my choices in between. I was confident. I felt healthy. I felt good about myself. I was the very exact same. I felt the same, but I knew that I could do better. If you're comfortable with the way you look, you should always be comfortable with who you are at whatever stage in your life that you're in. But every once in a while, ask yourself, but could I do better? And that was my 1 year. And I'm continuing on with Never Satisfied for a while. Now you can see a little bit more about the gym. If you're in the DMV area and you need a trainer, I would suggest that you at least meet, I would say, Coach D and Ali. Coach D is Advanced Sport Performance. He actually trains Ali, but they're both really good. I think you should go and see what works best for you.